I had this one lady message me because she was interested in my body type. She was just seeing all these headshots. She's like, what kind of physique do you have? I'm really into dad bods. Do you have a dad bod? I was like, well, that depends. Did your dad have you when he was 14? Because if so, I have your dad's body. Does your dad have scoliosis? You almost spit. Let it out, man. Come on. Zoom in. Get his face. I think the one good thing about having scoliosis, my back is shaped like this. I'm a very good spooner. Ladies, you ever been spooned by a guy while he's making eye contact with you? It's incredibly intimate. I don't like this body. I just worry if I ever do get in a relationship and I'm like put in a situation in which I have to defend my girl's honor. Like, is that something I'd be able to do? No, defend her honor. So I decided to only date women with no honor. That way if a man comes up to me and is like, your girl is a trifling ass hoe, I'll be like, that is correct, sir. We are in agreement. I am trying to fix my body, though. I've been going to a boxing gym, if you can't tell. Yeah, you're impressed. I can hear it. I'm going to a boxing gym. I didn't realize how much aggression I had built up inside of me until I started going. Like, people have always told me that I give school shooter vibes, which, to be clear, is not what I'm going for. I just naturally have kind of like a Columbine complexion. But I would never do that. I would never shoot a bunch of people. It's not my style. I think, though, since I've been taking these boxing classes, if I punched a certain number of people in a row, I could make the national news as the first mass puncher. I don't know what that number is. It could be 50, 60. How many people are here tonight? I'm not talking about winning fights, by the way. I'm talking about punching and running. I've been working on my cardio, too. And if you're like, oh, some guy like this would kick my ass before I got to 3, you're right. That's why I'm still gonna do it at a school. A Catholic all-girls school for the blind. All right.
I freaked out on drugs before. I was in college. It was the night before Halloween. I got a phone call from some friends. They were like, hey, JC, tonight we're going over to Todd's dorm. We're all going to take acid. And then we're going to watch the movie An American Werewolf in London. Do you want to go? And I was like, you had me at acid. I will be there. Got over to Todd's dorm. Me and 10 other college freshmen all took acid for the first time. Waited for it to begin affecting us, and then somebody put a horror movie about werewolves into a DVD player. Panic and paranoia consumed the room. One of my buddies convinced himself the combination of the drugs and the movie was going to turn him into an actual werewolf. And he alerted the room by going, guys, I think I'm gonna turn into a fucking werewolf. I gotta take my sneakers off first. They're brand new, dude. And then he just started taking his shoes off. And the rest of us were like, oh shit. We're probably all turning into werewolves. From one side of the room, somebody was like, why don't we just turn the movie off? Pretty good. That guy's an investment banker now. Other side of the room, somebody stood up and was like, it wouldn't matter. We're already infected. That guy owns a vape shop now. after he yelled that, he started to strip his clothes off. It turned into a chain reaction around the room as everybody realized they liked their clothes. So now it's a dorm room full of college-age dudes stripping all their clothes off to prevent them from being ruined when we transform into monsters. It's a typical Tuesday night in Florida. And to this one I went, someone has to be responsible. There's about to be 11 werewolves running loose on this college campus. So I walked over to the dorm room telephone and I called 911. I got on the phone with a 911 operator, a professional, and as a 17-year-old child, I confidently said into the phone, "Hello, me and my friends are on a whole bunch of drugs. And we're all about to turn into werewolves." And without skipping a beat, the lady on the other end of that phone went, "Honey, tonight's not the full moon." I'm not saying that lady deserves a medal, but she's pretty good at her fucking job. She calmed me right down. I hung up on her. I was like, "We're gonna be fine, guys. We dodged a real silver bullet on this one." Todd, put your pants back on.
So recently I was like, I gotta take a break from Tinder. And I didn't delete it, I just listed my real height. Yeah, fuck you guys. Yeah. I'm 5'6", it's pretty tough. And people are like, "Oh, short king." And I'm like, that's a little patronizing, you know? I actually don't like the term short, I find it offensive. I prefer vertically retarded. Which is the medical term. And there was recently some pretty tough news for the VR community, okay? So Bumble put out a study. This is true. Bumble put out a study that said 90% of their premium female users set their filters to only include men 6 feet and above. Yeah, 90%. When I heard that, I decided to quit being a feminist, actually. So, yeah. I marched for y'all. I couldn't see anything, but I'm pretty sure I marched, right? I'm pretty sure I was there. I was on someone's shoulders. But yeah, I'm single, I'm in these streets. I'm out here. I just broke up with a squirter recently. And look, I really liked her, I just don't have laundry in unit. You know? And then she's all like, "It's not piss." I'm like, "A wet blanket is a wet blanket." Like, I don't know, like, they're just 3 blocks away, so. But I've been trying to do some research on this, and have y'all read these? This is a difficult sentence to say out loud, but have you guys read the squirting study that just came out? Anyone? There's usually a guy in the back that's like, "I read that shit, brother." So they're trying to figure out what it is, right? So a team of scientists got some squirters together, I guess, and then using a catheter, they put blue dye in their bladders, okay? And then they put on those ponchos you get at the baseball game when it's gonna rain. And they kind of like this, they're like, "All right, squirt," you know? And the girls are like, and guess what? It was blue. Yeah, so ladies, anything y'all want to say? Or, because it would appear that y'all been pissing our beds, okay? I mean, look, and listen, I'm not even mad about the piss. I'm mad about the gaslighting that's been involved, all right? Like, "Oh, we have no idea what it is. Oh, it's a mysterious fluid." Because look, I get it. You come too hard and you piss a little bit. That's okay, right? That's fine. Bro, one time I was getting a blowjob and I came so hard, I farted, okay? So I understand. But at least I was honest about it, you know? She was like, "Did you just fart?" And I was like, "I farted," you know? I should have been like, "No, I'm a puffer," you know? Like, you've never... You've never made a dude puff before?
I really like smoking weed, but I don't think it makes you cool anymore. I feel like it's lost that aspect, you know? I miss that shit. Like, you used to have to be a cool person to get weed. You guys remember those days? Like in high school, my friends would be like, hey, Xander, can you get weed? And I'd be like, yeah, I could get weed. We have to watch Animal Planet with my friend Greg, but we can get it. Now anybody can get weed. You just walk into a store and you're like, 1 marijuana, please. And a college graduate comes out with the weed and all the scientific information about where they grew it, how much THC, CBD, CBN, CBG. It's exhausting. You ever like listen to these guys explain weed to you? You're like, dude, I didn't come here to learn. I came here to forget. Just give me the forget me smoke, let me go. Actually, this one's from Northern Alaska. Shut the fuck up, dude. Give me this shit. I miss buying weed from pot dealers, you know? Because they always had like really interesting personalities. Like I had this pot dealer in high school that whenever you wanted to pick up weed from him, he would never say the address he was at. He'd always just say a landmark he was parked nearby. So it was like a scavenger hunt. We'd be like, hey man, I'm trying to pick up some weed. He'd be like, all right, cool, I'm by the shells. He'd be like, you're at the beach? He'd be like, nah, I'm at a Shell gas station. You'd be like, all right, well, which Shell gas station? He'd be like, find out, bro. We'd have to just drive around town looking at every Shell gas station. One time I was like, where are you? And he was like, I'm parked behind an electrical truck. We found him. It took like 3 cars, 12 people, but when we smoked that weed, it was gratifying because we worked for it as a community.
But ending a 7-year relationship is sad. It is sad, you know? You invested a lot of time and energy in something that you thought was gonna last for a while, right? It's kind of like when you have to poop right after you shower. It's just like, what a waste! Guess I gotta get back in there. Give that thing another round. What a waste. But dating in your 30s, you guys, oh my God. Dating in your 30s is so exciting. It is so exciting. It's a lot like Facebook Marketplace. Just a lot of, is this still available? Could you send some close-up pictures of the damages? And sometimes a guy will come in with a back row hit of, will you accept $25? And the answer is OBO, baby. Come over. Mama's hungry. Let's go.
I have a white girlfriend. My girlfriend, she's white and sex positive. I remember she was telling me about this podcast she was listening to. She was like, hey, I heard on this podcast that if you hum while you're going down on me, it adds extra vibrations and feels really good. Do you want to try it? And I was like, hell yeah. But here's the thing, I also like fucking with my girlfriend a little bit. So when I went down there, I just started humming a Negro spiritual into her pussy. I was like, woo, 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 woo. Master's got me working so hard. And she came too, you guys, she came. Yeah, she came so hard she let me sleep inside the house, so. Yeah, graduated from a field munch to a house munch. What's up, y'all? All right, I made you guys uncomfortable, but I understand. That's all right. I like white people. You guys are fun, man. I like my white friends. I talk shit about white people sometimes on stage, but I love my white friends, man. They teach me really cool things. Like, I got taken camping for the very first time by a group of my white friends because white people love the elements, y'all. They love that shit. Only a white person will look you dead in the eyes and be like, yo, dude, this weekend you trying to go out into the woods and sleep in a Ziploc bag? No. No, niggas don't fuck with the woods like that. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to go out to the woods and cosplay as a runaway slave for the weekend. That just sounds terrible to me, yo. You know, last time I went camping, it told me my favorite word in the world. You guys want to know what that is? Amenities, okay? I love amenities like a motherfucker. Wi-Fi, thread count, showers. That's my shit, dog. Yeah, I got taken on this camping trip by my homeboy Kyler, so you know he's white, right? And while we were going out there, he was like, oh, just to let you know, there's known bear activity in the woods. And I was like, well, this seems like a fucking easy way for us to die. Why are we doing this? And he's like, no, it's okay, bro. I've done this 1,000,000 times. It's totally fine. So we go out there, we start setting up camp. And while we're setting up camp, my buddy starts tying all of our food up into a tree. And I was like, yo, why are you doing this right now? He's like, oh, that's just in case a bear comes. The bear will go for the food, and then that gives us time to escape. And I was like, yo, is our best defense against a bear attack a fucking piñata? Like, really?
A little bit about me. I have a 95-year-old grandmother, which means that my grandma is, anyone? Shout it out, no bad answers. 95, pretty good guess. Racist is actually the most correct answer. And it's funny because like the rest of my family, they try to like teach her to not be racist. They shame her, but I gave up on that. Because she was born in 1928. You know how many people born in 1928 are not racist? There's just one. It's Bernie Sanders. He's the only guy. He's the only one. Selfishly, I don't judge her. Selfishly, because if I made it to 95, I'd want grandkids like me, right? I'd want grandkids that don't judge me based upon the time in which I grew up. Because I'm not a bigot right now. I'm not a 2023 bigot, but I'm pretty sure if you drop this dude in 2088, he's not a chill guy. I don't think I'm a good guy in 2088. I can see my grandkids being embarrassed by me. They're like, get a load of Zach. He still believes that genders exist. He still thinks there's men and women in the world. He's out of control. He called himself a guy the other day. He's unhinged. I'm stuck in my old ways. I'm like, I am a guy. They're like, no, you're them, Grandpa. You are them. They can't even call me Grandpa because that's binary. They have to call me something stupid like Grand X. I'm like, don't call me Grand X. That's retarded. They're like, whoa, Grandpa. Grandpa. You definitely can't say retarded. That wasn't okay when you wrote that joke. I'm like, Tard X. Fair enough. Tard X is what we'll go with. It's funny, my grandma, she'll say racist things that sound awful while she means well. She means well, but it sounds terrible because she doesn't know the right terms. I'll give you an example. My cousin a few years ago had an Asian girlfriend, and my grandma met her. She really liked her, and she called me after meeting her. She's like, Zachary, you have to meet Jonathan's new girlfriend. She is the nicest Oriental you've ever met. I'm like, that's not good. That's not good at all. I don't think she'd be the nicest if she heard you drop the O-bomb. And the worst part about that conversation was like, I was so taken aback by what she said, I wound up sounding more racist than her on the phone. I'm like, what do you mean he's dating an Oriental? She's like, he can date an Oriental. I'm like, that's not what I meant. Stop saying Oriental, okay, Grandma? Also, of course he has an Asian girlfriend, right? We're Jewish. Jewish dudes love Asians. That's how we're oriented. I hope at least that his girlfriend had like an offsettingly anti-Semitic grandma who liked him. Right? And called a different family member. It's like, oh, you gotta meet Jonathan. Nicest Hebe of all time. Quality Hebe. He's phenomenal kike, if we're being honest. Yeah, he took us to dinner tipped, and it was 25%. He's one of the good ones. It was a sunny day. He controlled the weather for us, okay? He's a good Hebe.
I was single in the heart of the pandemic. I don't know if you guys remember, because it's been a while, but I was single when it was like, we were really afraid of each other. And I learned something fun about myself, that I'd rather risk dying alone on a ventilator than not have sex. That's what I learned. So I was out there in the streets. I was dating, you know? And you go on some like bullshit, like social distance walk with someone in a park. You'd be in like a mask, and you take the mask off, and you'd be like, ooh, I kind of like him. You kiss him, and then condoms were out the door. Right? I mean, come on. In the face of COVID, what's chlamydia really? That's kind of how I felt. But it was also a weird time because my father was also like he's kind of dying of cancer. He's dying of cancer. Okay, sorry. So my father was suffering from like a hardcore cancer while COVID was happening. So every time I'd see him, I'd be in a mask and I would like be really really careful. And so it was weird because it's like a weird time in my life that you'd be like having sex with someone and you were like, oh my god, like instead of being like I might get an STD, I was like, am I gonna kill my father? Fucked with my orgasms is how I'll put it. He doesn't know that. I didn't tell him. But I did. I'm in a new relationship. I mean, new. It's been like 4 years, 3.5. But I met my current dude in that pandemic time. Okay, like I mean, let me just say, he's a really good cook. I was looking for a warm meal. No restaurants were open. He trapped me, is what I'm gonna say he did. But I met him in the heart of the pandemic, and so it was like a funny time to meet somebody. But he had a fantastic line, you guys, because he took me home the first time. We're hooking up. I'll just throw you in the room. So we're hooking. He's like, oh yeah. He throws out this thing. Am I the first you've had since COVID? Like Richie wasn't. But what was I supposed to say? It was a pandemic. So I was like, oh yeah, buddy. You're a real Christopher Columbus. Why don't you plant that flag? Because men love to be the first at something. Don't they, ladies? Couple nods to the front, everyone else is on a date. Yeah, okay. Men love to pioneer us for some reason, right? Like if a woman has a good orgasm and a man's involved in even giving that orgasm, inevitably he'll always be like so like, has anyone ever done that to you before? Like, yeah, since I was a teenager. Like, I am in constant awe of men's unfounded confidence. I can't imagine as a woman giving a man an orgasm and then be like, oh my God. It's like, has anyone ever done that to you before? A little more male laughter when I turn that one around, right?
This is how you knew if you were broke as a kid. It's with the amount of crayons that you brought to school. Am I right? Like what, 8 crayons if you had school lunch, 24 crayons if your parents were still together. There's always that super rich kid came to school in a suit with that suitcase of 3,000 crayons. Remember that? Had a sharpener in the back. Press a button and Backstreet Boys would play. This kid was killing it. They'd always have that real rich laugh, with their mouth open but their teeth closed. Like, ho, 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 where's my periwinkle blue? What is that? Me, I was so broke, I just had a random assortment of stolen Denny's crayons. That's all I had. Just 12 greens and 10 reds, the only 2 colors they give you. Looking like a serial killer whenever I'm coloring, just trees and blood, trees and blood. It all comes out brown in the end. You don't have to be broke anymore now. There's OnlyFans. Is anyone making money on OnlyFans? I see it all the time. Cases come through on my desk every day. It's crazy. You can make a frickin' killing on OnlyFans. My friend back in LA, she makes $25,000 a month. I have like 3 of you think that's a lot of money. Everyone's just super rich. Like, no, that's not us. Barely get you a 2-penny out here. $25,000 a month. It blew my mind. But also I was like, how do you keep track? Because she's got thousands and thousands of subscribers. I was like, how do you keep track of all these messages from all these horny dudes, just hundreds a day, sending dick pics and gross ones? And you're just like, what? I was like, how do you keep track of any of this? And she said, I don't keep track of anything. I hire a dude in Mexico and pay him $20 an hour, and he responds to everything. First of all, give it up for Mexicans, baby. We will take over any business. Outsourcing that shit. But the funniest thing to me about that is all these dudes that think they're talking to Roxy, and they're talking to Eduardo. And that is my favorite part. That is the American dream right there. He's just responding to all these dick pics like, Tyler, your dick is como se dice enormous, bro. It's like an anaconda, cabrón. Kid's like, cállate la boca, I'm talking to Tyler. I miss you, my love. If you want to see my pussy again, it's like $20 more.
I think one of the things that gets me in trouble as a fat dude, I'm a big fan of Taco Bell, like Taco Bell. We have a cantina near my house. Do you guys know what the Taco Bell cantina is? Some nods, some cultured folk in here. If you don't know, it's a Taco Bell that sells alcohol, which is perfect, right? Sounds like an ideal, picturesque, place in life, but let me tell you, there's some diabolical stuff going on in there because I don't think any Taco Bell should let you drink in it, Because I was like giving my card to the cashier and I thought to myself, like, where am I at in my life that I'm looking a Taco Bell cashier in their eyes and I'm like, keep the tab open. This is gonna be a long night. I'm about to get Baja blasted in the corner over here. Love Taco Bell. Dude, the other day I went to Taco Bell, asked for an item off the secret menu. An employee just took me to the back and sucked my dick. Delicious, dude. Live Moss. That's what they said after, dude. Live Moss. I was like, what? Fucking Live Moss, dude. What the hell, pouring hot sauce packets on my nipples and shit or whatever. I don't even know where that came from, so. I'm not even a comedian, I'm just here to use the bathroom, so.
We got fellas in the house, fellas make some noise. Fellas make some noise. Fellas, if you own and operate your own sex toys, make some noise. See how quiet it got in here? Why is that? Why is that? They're making sex toys for us now, boys. We still can't talk about it, though. It's still taboo, It's crazy, because every time I picture, like, a woman going to buy a sex toy, that scene is always hella classy in my mind. Like the salesperson, he's wearing a tuxedo for some reason. He's like a dildo sommelier, you feel me? He'll be standing there, he's like, this dick was crafted in Switzerland. Even though the engine is quiet, the motor is still very powerful. I picture a man going to buy toys. That scene gets grimy, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. Now, the salesperson, he's a hairy-ass troll for some reason, okay? And he just stands there like, the pocket pussies are over there. I don't even know why he sounds like that, okay? That's up here. That's up here. It's wild, man. I feel like ladies, y'all get celebrated for having sex toys, right? The ladies, they get celebrated. Like, you can bring them out, show your friends. The ladies can bring their toys out, show their friends, and they will be happy. You bring your toys out, it's like, yes, queen, you got your first dildo. Yes, bitch, got your first dildo. She putting that shit in the group chat. Bitch just got her first dildo. All kind of fireworks going off on the iPhone. Fellas, you try to bring a pocket pussy out to show the homies? Oh, hell no. Hell no. We have to leave now, as a matter of fact. We gotta go. Nah, that nigga Chad is weird now, bro.
I come from a long, proud line of teen moms. It's a tradition in my family, It was started by my great-great-grandmother back in 1993. That's how we do it. That's how it's done. My mom was so scared that I was going to continue the cycle, So when I was a teenager, she was very strict. Like, my doctor wanted to give me the HPV vaccine. And my mom said, why? So my 14-year-old daughter can be a slut. And now her 30-year-old daughter is a slut with HPV. I should have gotten that vaccine. You know? It's too late for me. It's too late. I'm just playing. I don't have HPV. I'm just being silly, you know? Just being silly. I have to clarify now, because one time after a show, this cute guy started chatting me up, and he was like, "It's so cool that we both have HPV."
I've had some bad jobs in my day. My first job out of college, we didn't have very good healthcare benefits. The only healthcare that we were offered was through Kaiser Permanente. Not ideal, yeah. Some people acknowledge that. If you don't know, Kaiser Permanente is a health insurance company, but they also own the hospital and they employ all the doctors. And if that sounds like a conflict of interest, that's because it is. It's not good. They're for profit. They only hire the cheapest doctors. And when you sign up for it, they let you pick your doctor online. There's not one good one. I looked through all of them. There's not a good one. When I had it, I ultimately, I looked through everybody. I went with this woman who graduated from NYU, pretty good school. Also went with her because she was Asian. Let's not judge. It wasn't because she was Asian. It's because all the other doctors were like white dudes from Nebraska. You know, that's, like, I don't want a doctor who believes in God. Does that make sense? You guys are starting to follow. You get it? Even if you're Catholic, you don't want a God-fearing man as your... You don't want to go into surgery and see the surgeon like... Lord, grant me the strength. You go to your doctor, he's like, it's either chlamydia or the devil. Okay. You leave with a prescription for an exorcism. He's like, thankfully it's not herpes, that is much more permanente. But I had a female doctor for the first time, and I went in for my physical with her, and ladies, you may not know this, big part of the men's physical is the doctor. They like feel your balls, they grab your nuts. Usually with a glove, not always, depends on the doctor, but I went in for the physical with her, and we got to that part of the physical, and she made it really awkward. It wasn't cool at all. We got to that part, and she was like, we are going to do the testicle exam next. Do you want me to bring in a male doctor for the testicle exam? I'm like, why would I want you to do that? I think you're the right person for the job. I think you're gonna do just fine. She doubled down. She made it weirder. She made it way worse. She's like, you know, most guys choose male doctors. Kind of inferring that I chose her specifically for the testicle exam, which for the record, I did not. I'm like, do you not want to do the testicle exam? She's like, I don't want to, but I'm not opposed to it. Which is consent, so. Got the consent, it was good. It was a quick testicle exam. She finished, I finished, we both finished. We both finished the testicle exam. Shared a cigarette in the lobby afterwards. It's a good time. It's a good time. Funny thing about the testicle exam, though, is that you don't only get that as a man. They give that to you as a boy. Like when you're a child, you get the testicle exam from doctors. I don't think we give pediatricians a hard enough time about that, right? That's a pretty core part of their job, is feeling boys' balls. Every other profession of medicine, we judge them for the medicine they chose. Like if you ever meet a male gynecologist, 10 out of 10 times you're gonna be like, oh, you must love pussy. Like that's always what you do. And then there's pediatricians, and we're like, nothing to look into here. Nothing at all. I guess they just love kids. Hopefully not too much. I think about this more than you guys do. That's obvious. And there's a reason for that. That was a weird time to take a sip of water. You guys are just imagining the worst. Like, did you get molested by a pediatrician? I did not. But my pediatrician throughout my whole childhood, he was like a really like jolly guy. He was always really happy to be there. And I wish he turned that off for the testicle exam. It's kind of weird when you're in a room alone with a grown man. He's like, all right, let's see those testicles. Yoink. Like, that's not... He didn't wear gloves. He was raw dogging it. He was one of those doctors. He wanted to feel them. There was one time, it was pretty weird. I was like 9 years old. I had like trouble taking my pants off. He undid the zipper for me. Yeah, with his teeth. It was fucked up. It was a weird testicle exam. I wasn't even there for a physical. I was there for strep throat. He's like, we can't be too sure. Cough, it is strep throat. Look at that.
I don't understand. California is expensive. It's always been expensive. But now, it's at another level. Like, for instance, our necessities are the price of luxuries. Did you notice that? Like, did y'all know that eggs is at cocaine prices? Did you hear this? Eggs is at cocaine prices, fam. White pants say cocaine. I'm just saying it right now. You just got this Miami look thing going. All right, no. Yeah, cocaine. I didn't know the shit. I had no fucking idea. I had no idea until I had a homie over to the house and I was cooking breakfast and shit. And he looked in my fridge and he noticed that I had 2 cartons of brown cage-free eggs. Like, I wasn't thinking about it. He was like, oh shit, nigga. You got brown cage-free eggs, nigga? Oh shit, nigga. That Chappelle money hitting, bro. That shit hit for real, bro. That shit hit cause you out here and they organic, nigga, you balling. And I'm sitting there wondering what the fuck are you talking about? What is going on? And he broke it down. He was like, look, nigga, you didn't know? Eggs is at cocaine prices. Mm-hmm. People gonna be sucking dick for eggs pretty soon, nigga. And I'm bewildered, but also I think ahead of, because I'm a problem solver, fam. I like to think ahead of the curve. So I'm sitting there thinking, well, look, nigga, if people gonna be sucking dick for eggs, well, I'm gonna go get me some chickens. Like, what the fuck are we talking about?
Tiny pony.